Hi, everyone. My name is Carlos with Miami EdTech. Hey, Steve. Welcome. Soleil is listed as a moderator. She may be having trouble accessing um, the event. I'm not sure about that. But Julie, did you? I think, Julie, you're listed as a moderator as well. Is there any way I can help? I think. All right. I think Soleil's all set up now. I can let the chat know that we got things up and running. Feel free to begin. Soleil, I think you're still.
Yeah, I'm having issues with my camera, but I am.
Mm-hmm.
I think you guys can hear me.
Yep, we can hear you. Okay.
Let's see if this works. That does not work.
All right. I joined back on. I could definitely ask you plenty of questions, Steve, as we wait. Who's your favorite Heat player of all time?
Hi, how's it going?
Hey, good. Thanks for joining us today. Excited to have you. These will also be recorded too, so we do have a way to get back to them for students. So thanks for taking the time and joining us. We do have some folks in here. If you'd like to just kind of, did you have a Q&A setup planned? Because Soleil could also just do it via microphone. Soleil, if that's easier for you, no, you don't need to be on camera if you want to just chat with Steve for now. Might be having some technical difficulties. So Steve, how long have you been with the Heat?
I've been here 22 years.
Not a long time at all.
A little good run here.
Nice. Well, I'm a huge fan. What is it that you do over there?
So I'm the vice president in basketball operations and the executive director of the Miami Heat Charitable Fund.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So in today's event, obviously we have students thinking about their careers. Why don't maybe you could start with a reflection. How did you, was this something you had mapped out? What were some of your earlier plans?
Well, when I graduated with an undergraduate degree in business, I really just wanted to get into the business world. And that was really something that, I had my mindset on. And then at that time, sport really was a business that was really, becoming something that was evolving in front of my eyes. And then that was where I focused on and ended up doing a graduate degree in sport management and led me to the industry.
Wow. So did you play sports growing up, or?
I played basketball in high school and a little bit of baseball, but not much more than that.
Got it. So the path of sports and business, how did that come about? I mean, I know you've been there, you said almost 22 years.
Yeah. Yeah, I did a master's degree in sport management at Barry University, and it was a dual degree in business and sport management. And from there, was able to have a few internships, a few jobs in the industry, and then that led to a game night opportunity with the Florida Panthers at the time that played at the Miami Arena. And that kind of kicked off my career in sports.
So what advice would you give to a student who's trying to kind of, crack that environment or find a way to get in there? I know it's tough, probably limited internships, limited opportunities for entry level.
Yeah, now is definitely a unique time, given the fact that we're still, in a pandemic and still, virtually working in this industry. So, my advice right now is really to evolve and figure out different ways how to better yourself, how to really become able to to take anything that's out there, whether it's an internship, whether it's a meeting, whether it's an interview, really just become, um, experience anything that you can right now.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, this is unprecedented in times. And are you aware of like virtual opportunities that like the Heat, how has the Heat responded in that virtual kind of environment? What
Yeah,
have you seen?
so at the Heat right now, there's a hiring freeze, I believe, just because the business side is still working from home, and
Right.
I don't really think there's a lot of opportunities at the current time. We just came off of a season with the playoffs in the bubble. We're in a limited fan capacity of games, so that's why given the health and safety protocols that are set forth right now, it's really difficult to actually try and attain the jobs or maybe internships that were available in the past.
Do you think I'm looking at my screen here. Do you think like skill sets have to evolve, and if so, like what should students be thinking about in terms of like how their skills evolve for like this new kind of economy?
Yeah, I think the number one skill that everyone needs to develop is really focusing on their own relationships and their personal relationships. Really figuring out how to build your network, build your own brand, and understand that given this landscape of virtual connections, that really the interpersonal skills aren't as effective right now because we don't have those tangible moments that we had in the past. So really being able to focus on your relationships and relationship building right now would probably be first and foremost beyond any skill set that you can attain.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that even if you look at LinkedIn and follow trends on like what employers say every year, you find critical thinking, problem
Right.
solving. Those tend to be the biggest challenges that employers identify when they talk about hiring. I'm sure you have done your fair share of hiring. Like what stands out to you when you're like evaluating talent to join your team?
Look, I think experience is very important, in the interview process and really recommendations and referrals. I think the way someone carries themselves and handles themselves even before the interview process is very important. Whether it's etiquette and email, whether it's the follow up, punctuality, character. There's a lot of things that you can tell a lot about a person in the way they articulate themselves and the way they communicate.
I think when I talk to high school students, a lot of them focus so much on hard skills, and I try to say that hard skills, if a job's going to invest in you, the company will take the time to like, teach you some of the specific software. But what I see is a lot of times they just don't take that extra step. And people think because a lot of students are digital natives. I mean, I wouldn't say I was a digital native. I had Nintendo. I didn't have a phone in my hand. I still had the phone with the cord. So we talk a lot about the pros and the cons of being a digital native.
Yeah.
Do are there things like when you bring on employees, like software hard skills versus soft skills, like what's onboarding look like?
Well, that's a unique question here because onboarding, when it comes to us, has to deal with not only employees but players, player representation. So we have a lot of different layers with that. When it comes to somebody who's in high school or trying to figure out a skill set throughout college, again, I'll go back to human relationships. I think that that is an aspect of life that really gets taken for granted. A lot of students think they don't have the experience or they don't have the skill set. And these days, more than ever, human relationships and communication are the biggest skill set that you can have. Because in theory, we've all been probably, let's say 12 to 15 months out of our normal routines. So whether you were bartending, whether you were, working as a waiter or waitress, any job has changed, any job. So there really isn't a how has this been done
Yeah.
in the past. Anything that you can do now is really being done in a different way. So again, I'll use that word evolve. If you're able to evolve and figure out how to adjust, given the fact that we are in a still health and safety protocols are
Yeah.
in the forefront. You know, that's something that's very important to a lot of people right now, and I think that should never go overlooked.
Got it. Julie, I'm going to turn it over to you. I got some fires to put out in some other sessions, but thanks, Steve. It's really nice meeting you, and I apologize for the tech difficulties,
No,
man.
don't worry about it.
Yeah. Carlos, yeah, agriculture, put out a lot of fires. Take care of that. We have students coming in, and I thank you for answering his questions. I'm going to step in and also with having a lot of issues as well. So we're just improvising real fast here. What are some necessary skills to become a successful executive in sports?
Can everybody hear me okay? Because it's a little choppy on your end.
The sound's coming through good.
Sounds coming through good. Okay, good. Some of the successful, tips are really to just figure out, how to better yourself every day, and how to really figure out ways how to enhance your own skill set every day, whether it's reading books, whether it's building your own brand, whether it's relationship building, just really how to take the time to better yourself every day.
Good, thank you. What are some new career opportunities that you may see in the future for sports and in your industry?
Some new opportunities, definitely, first and foremost, are probably dealing with a lot of the COVID restrictions and COVID guidelines set in place. We've really taken on new roles here in our health and safety protocols. So that's definitely something that's not going away anytime soon. And then just really being able to evolve in this space of being very tech savvy and being able to communicate virtually.
Yeah. I want to say that the NBA really did take a leadership role last year with their bubble that they created amidst the height of COVID last year, and how you guys pulled that off successfully. I mean, there must have been so many moving parts, and I mean, it was really interesting to watch unfold. And I think hats off to everyone who helped make that happen. I mean, there are probably new jobs created that you've never had before because of COVID.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, I had the opportunity to be there, and yeah, just for me to learn firsthand what the NBA was doing and then bring that back to our organization was really a tremendous learning experience for me. And this is all new to everybody, so it's not like anybody had any experience in doing it. And it's just about trying to figure out the best way how to put the product out on the court safely. And yeah, they did a great job with it.
Yeah, I mean, it was, when I saw the plans announced, I was like, well, this is interesting. And then just to see it successfully pulled off was fantastic. So what advice would you give to a high school student interested in working in sports or hospitality or both?
Yeah, and the advice that I would give is really just to lay off your phone as much as you can, but use your phone, use your device. Lay off of it in the sense of just becoming a roboticized human being. Get out of your comfort zone. Do things, reach out to people, take some chances, and really learn how to, again, I keep using the word evolve who you are as a person. You're so young, there's no way that you know what you're going to do. And there's so much potential in front of you. Maybe take on some things that you're not interested in. I think all of us at that age, in high school and college, whether we're set on what we want to do, things change a lot. So instead of just being so focused on what you want to do, really open your mind up and immerse yourself in so many different things to figure out what will be best for you when it happens.
When you first started out in your career, what were some of your challenges, and what advice did you receive when you were just starting off that you found that really helpful and that could still apply to this day?
So my biggest challenge starting out was really initially when I wasn't able to reach anybody because, I'm dating myself, but obviously at the time in the 90s, it was about writing letters, sending a resume through the mail. And the biggest challenge was, is the person on the other end ever receiving what I'm sending? Is that person going to take the time to reach back out to me, and why would that person reach back out to me? I mean, I've had stories upon stories of things that I've done and some of my friends have done that are head coaches of teams now and general managers and presidents of teams, where I mean, it may sound ridiculous to anyone listening, but I remember, maybe taping a needle to a piece of paper and sending it to someone saying, let me be, your needle in the haystack, just trying to get somebody to call me. Now that's zero chance going to happen today. Zero. No one's ever going to send or write a letter. But if you can get someone to pick up your call, respond to your email, respond to your DM, you have everything at your fingertips. We all do. And if you're not going to use that to your advantage, and you're not, and like right now, all of us are on an even playing field, all of us. And you're going to make excuses of why you can't do something because this team's not hiring, this person didn't call you back. I mean, that's ridiculous to me to hear some of these excuses. And if you think back to, like I said, the example that I said of writing letters, how can you make yourself stand out? Why would a DM from you be any different to me? Or why would an email from you stand out? Are you going to misspell words? Are you going to say you want to work in baseball when you're emailing a basketball team? I mean, these things happen all the time. People will say, hi Jack when they're looking for hi Joan. So, or misspelling names. I mean, these things happen all the time. So again, looking yourself in the mirror, not your phone, and figuring out how you can better yourself and how you can enhance somebody through your own reach.
Over the years in your career, if you've been directly involved with hiring, adding team members to your own team, what things stuck out to you in an applicant or another team member from another department that said, I want this person working with me?
Yeah, I think things that stick out are obviously people that are very punctual, people that are very credible. They do what they say, and people who have great experience and also some good references as well. Wherever you are in life, whoever you work for is a potential reference, and that person can say good or bad things about you based on your work for them. So I really think those are the things that stand out, and being professional above anything. Always being professional. It can never be taken lightly.
Especially with that open, that first communication. You send an email, phone call, got to be professional because they will remember the unprofessional ones.
Right.
And you don't want to be remembered for that.
Right.
So what does a day in the life when you're working with Miami Heat look like for you?
So for me, I happen to have three small children, which, are my number one day in my life. My son, who's 11, and my two daughters, 8 and 6. So that really, to me, however I could spend the most time with them, which is hard given our work schedule, is most important to me. But, the things that have changed now is that we're really in a 24-hour-a-day business, which is not great. If you think about it, for everybody, not just in sports. For me personally, when we stopped playing in March 11th, 2019, which, can you believe it's 2 years removed that, 2020, that we're almost 2 years removed from all these things. We've been going since 2019, straight from August of 2019. So, every day is different. That's what I really enjoy here about the Heat. It's been very rare to have 2 days the same, and that's great. Whether it's me that makes every day different, or things that happen around us, or just the NBA itself is so ever changing every day, and there's news every minute that you really have to stay on top of it. Right now, while we're talking, I'm sure there's a lot of stuff going on that we're missing out on at the moment on Twitter and things like that. So I just love the fact that every day is different, and it's up to us to really try and make every day matter as well.
Speaking of staying on your toes, and I think everyone had to do that over the last year, what are some of those skills that you acquired over your years working and through your education that you found really helped you adapt or constantly adapt, and especially that you say every day is not the same? What really helps you do that?
Look, I spent probably over 7 years in food and hospitality, and that really allowed me to become somebody who understood the human aspects of life and the human aspects of business. So I think those jobs, when I worked in hotels and worked in different restaurants and things like that, being able to interact with people was a big part of how I could relate to people now.
Our students, I want to ask questions, go ahead, put them in the chat. Remember to keep them professional. If I see anything pop up, I will ask Steve. Another question, and I apologize if Carlos asked this because we were going back and forth, but did you have a mentor, and how important was it to build a strong network for your career?
Yeah, I've had a few mentors. One, my father, which has been to teach me work ethic. And then in sports, I've been very fortunate to work for Pat Riley all these years. And I don't take that for granted. And he's somebody who, to this day, 22 years in, I learn every day from. And then I've had a few mentors in various teams, in various industries and leagues that I've always leaned on and tried to really engage my career with them as much as possible to learn from them and to help my path.
Fun question. You said you've been with the Miami Heat for 22 years. Do you have any of the rings? I know Steph.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't wear jewelry,
Right.
but yeah, I have 3 rings. They're all locked away in a safe.
Nice.
I opened the safe the other day just to make sure they were still there. They're pretty big, and one day I'll probably wear them at some point, but I'm not really such a jewelry guy. But yeah, the 3 rings that we have, awesome, and don't want to be greedy, but we definitely need more, and that's what we're here trying to do.
Cool.
Great, but that's a material thing, and I think the things that stick with me more were the memories of those 3 championships.
How was that? I mean, we see the athletes celebrate and the coaches, but as part of the whole Miami Heat organization, to be a part of that, what was that like?
Well, in 2006, it was so new, something that when I started working in sports, to be honest with you, was never even a goal for me. It was never even like, I have nothing to do with the team on the court. So winning a championship was just so new and so, surreal at the time to be part of something like that. But after that, I was able to really, focus in on what's next and figure out ways how to be part of something special. And then in 2012, when we won our next championship, that was almost a relief, because we lost the year before. And then in 2013 was, again, such a struggle to be there. And each championship took on a different emotion. But winning always felt like such an absolute, best best possible thing that only one team gets to do. And it's just something that I can't wait, and hopefully can do again at some point.
Come on, let's do it. We have a question in the chat that says, many refer the determination and grit from the Heat players as Heat culture. Do you think that the Heat culture extends to front office?
Absolutely. I mean, I was here before we had culture, before it was called culture. So absolutely, there's something on the court that's Heat culture. Players come here, they know about, they hear about, and we're not for everybody. We're not. You know, if you work here, it's not as glamorous as what people think. I mean, this you know, logo and this mark means a lot, and it makes people feel a certain way. But absolutely, our culture was my culture before there was a Heat culture. You know, we want to be the hardest working, most competitive, most disliked, you know, team person out there, and we don't care about what else anyone else is doing. We know what we're doing, and that's how my advice to everybody is, you know, your career, your own culture should be like a game of golf. Like if you, Julie, hit a hole in one, that's awesome. Does nothing for my career, or does nothing for my score, does nothing for my title, my salary range. You got to focus on yourself. So I think absolutely culture extends to the front office, and it's because of our ownership, and it's also because of Pat instilling that here, and the people around here take on the culture. Because if you don't, you're either with us or you're not with us, and that's something that there's a reason why there's been a lot of folks here for 20 plus years. It's because they are unique, and they are cut, and we're cut from the same cloth of hard work. And not saying that other organizations don't work as hard, because they do. And it's not just all about hard work, but it's really sacrificing yourself for the betterment of others. And it's really trying to enjoy others' success and not really worry about your own success. And that's hard to do. It's easy to say. It's very hard to do.
I mean, I remember going to my first Heat game at the old Miami Arena when it was Alonzo Mourning and, oh man, Tim Hart. That was,
yeah.
I'll never forget that. That was an experience. But yeah, let's see. I know we are missing a couple of students, but not to worry, because we are recording this, so we will share this with them who, you know, in case anyone had technical issues or anything like that. Let me see if I have any other questions to go through here. Oh, another question. What is one player that you wish signed with the Heat?
Yeah, that's a great question, but you know, the way I look at things is, you know, you can't get focused on who could have, or what you should have, or what if, or I wish this happened. You know, it's a great question, because guess what? There's no one that I wish signed with the Heat, because we've signed everybody who we've tried to sign and acquire, and we're dealt with that, and you work through it. And whoever hasn't signed here, or whoever hasn't been traded for, or who hasn't ever been acquired, they haven't been part of this. And in my view of things is, you know, you have to deal with what you have, and you can't always worry about the what ifs. So yeah, are there great players out there that I wish played for the Heat? Absolutely. But I think that every player that puts on that uniform is somebody who we consider family, and somebody who we are going to give the best chance to win another ring with.
Yeah, Miami Heat's had some great players over the years. That is definitely not an understatement. I mean, Dwayne Wade, LeBron James. I mean, it's been great being a Heat fan. That's for sure. Over the years. Let me see if I've got anything else here before we wrap up. Is there anything else you would like to add for our students who are now just beginning to explore their college and career opportunities?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it's time to, again, reevaluate yourself, and maybe, you know, change your handle on Instagram from Boo Boo Kitty 83, or, you know, it's time to kind of, you know, take that next step of responsibility and be an active participant in your own rescue. You know, people aren't going to judge you based on your social media handle or what you're doing, but everybody's entitled to have fun and live their life. But when it comes to your career, it really is a lifelong effort. Even if you're not working, it's really something that you have to make your own. So I started doing Instagram recently, about 2 years ago. You know, you feel free to follow me to see the things that we're doing. But my advice to people on social media is use it to your advantage. That's the thing right now that's at your fingertips. And yeah, we're all guilty of just, you know, scrolling through and seeing what's going on. It's normal. You know, it's almost gotten, like I said, very robotic. But if you can actually, if you're in South Florida and you're following the Marlins, the Panthers, the Dolphins, the Heat, the Inter Miami now, and really following them like a soap opera and following moves and seeing what transpired. This is not only about sports last night. You know, if you're not going to educate yourself on what's going on, that the Minnesota Timberwolves had to postpone their game last night playing home to Brooklyn because of the tragic event that happened with Dante Wright. You know, if you don't know what I'm talking about, that's a problem. You know, so these are things that are happening right now in our world, and it's not just about sports. But if you are interested in sports, I would suggest you follow every team, every league, even if you're not a fan of that team, just to see how teams handle their business. There's a lot of probably 20 to 25-year-olds that handle the social media accounts for teams. So these jobs are becoming more and more prevalent now. So, and guess what? That 20 and 25-year-old that handles the account for teams, the most powerful person at that team, you know, to get that message out and to get a good message out, a funny message out, a message that attracts attention to the team. You know, it's not Dwayne Wade doing that for us. It's not Jimmy Butler tweeting stuff out, but occasionally, you know, we will repost things that they do. So if you're not going to use social media to your advantage right now, you're doing a disservice to yourself. Because even if you're a high school senior, you know, what's next? You know, Instagram now, but now we're in this tech digital world of, you know, for instance, Bitcoin is so hot and people are talking about that now. And if you're not educated on NFTs and that digital world of business, again, intersects with teams, because last week the Oakland A's sold their first suite in Bitcoin. So, you know, if you're 18 and this is new and you're in this, and I'm the old person educating myself with what an 18-year-old is doing, it's up to the 18 to 25-year-old to say, hey, I want to help a Steve Stowe out with, you know, Bitcoin because I've been trading that for 2 years, or I want to help a team out with their Instagram account because I feel like they missed da-da-da-da-da. So these are the ways that you could take your own personal experiences and really engage in a way that never existed before, and really figure out how is this technological world going to play a role with your career. Because believe me, if the pandemic taught us one thing, it's how to be efficient and how to be more effective from your home or from your office or from never seeing anybody. I don't think I'll ever, I'm not never going to say never, but I don't think I'll ever have another in-person meeting in my office for a while. So, and I used to do those a lot, and there's good and bad things with that. But I've evolved in doing things like this. I'm able to reach a bunch of students that I never would have had the opportunity to meet in the past.
Thank you. Well said. And we got one more question before we wrap up. And our chat says, what do you think is the most important thing that the Heat charity does other than helping the community?
The most important thing that we do is really, you know, giving back to fans that give so much to us. You know, the most important aspect of that is really making, you know, our fans appreciate us as, you know, active participants in our community, and realizing that, yeah, it is about wins and losses, but it really is more than that. It's about having our team so active and making people, you know, really look up to us and give us the credibility that they know that they can trust us and realize when we do something in this community, it's something that everybody should be part of.
All right. Thank you so much, Steve. Thank you for your time, for your answers, for your advice for our students. So apologize about our technical glitches in the beginning, but just like this year, we adapt and improvise and move forward. Thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure, and hope everyone has a tremendous successful career and just keep going at it and don't ever get dejected or take things personal, and keep moving forward always.
We will share this as well with the students who missed it. So do not fear. Your words will get to our students. I know we've had some technical issues this morning, but we will keep going forward, like you said. To any students here, in the next few minutes, we will be proceeding to your next session for session B. So thank you again to the Miami Heat and Steve, and have a great day.
You too. Bye, guys. Thanks, Julie.
Bye.
Thanks.